Grand Rising, greetings, shalom, assalamu alaikum, hola, bien, in French, all that good stuff. The reason why, let me get started, I have posted that there's a power outage is to kind of give an explanation of why I'm doing this video the way I am instead of being in front of the camera, which obviously I love because I'm photogenic and I enjoy, providing eye contact, somewhat of eye contact. But there is a power outage in my neighborhood. Not that I didn't pay my bill, nothing like that. You see for yourself, the lights will be back on by 12 or before then. So within the next 20, 30 minutes. Now, moving right along. First thing first, let's establish for those of you who do not know the difference between maternal and paternal parents. The maternal parents are your mother's parents, your mother's mother and father, your grandparents, your mother's grandparents. Paternal is your father's parents, your father's mother and father, making them your grandparents by your father. Okay. The reason why I stated because I wanted to get that out there first, establishing maternal and paternal. Anyone who knows me knows that since I was a child, I have been basically begging my mother to tell me who my biological father is. And I always suspected that my father was closer than I thought. I just have been floored. This morning, I've received information from my DNA. Like I said, those of you who know me and been following me know that I don't really talk about it as much. But today, today I got time, okay? I did get my DNA results back almost 2 years ago. However, I was so confused by the results that I've basically been trying to trace back as far as I can, and nothing is hitting as far as my father, except for the fact that I may be a product of incest. Well, at this point, I know I am. There's no maybe to it. The DNA results have proven that. Okay, sorry about that. Like I said, if you have a problem with me pausing, so what? I don't care. I'm going to pause so that I can grieve because, like I said, this is very overwhelming. It is a lot. The reason why, let's just move on to the next part. The next part is again, like I said, as I get deeper into my story, it just gets more and more crazy and twisted and just mind-blowing because these are the same people who have been calling me crazy all of my life, like since I was a kid, like 5, 6, 7 in my teens. These people were calling me crazy. These people were, Jesus Christ, they were very cruel to me. They were very, very cruel to me. And come to find out, they're crazy. These people are sick. Wait till I get to the birth certificates and the switching of the names. And I want you guys to keep in mind the last name, Nevels, Harris, and Ward. I have a cousin. Now, my government name for now is Jessica Coleman. Actually, Jessica Coleman Tolliver, because I got married, but I am going through a divorce and that name will be dropped. So let's just say Coleman for now. And I have a cousin, or I guess she's my cousin, and a sister / aunt. I'm telling you, it's about to get real deep. With the last name Nevels, whose last name should be Ward. Her last name should be Ward. And depending on who my father is, my last name should be Nevels. I also have a cousin whose mother married someone whose last name is Harris, who's related to my, sorry about that again, on my paternal, my father's side of the family. this cousin, her last name is Ward, but it should be Harris. And her first name is Jessica, same name as mine. And I used to wonder when I was a kid, that is strange. Me and my cousin have the same first name. We're both named Jessica. She's Jessica Ward and I'm Jessica Coleman. This shit goes deep. Anyways, if you look on your screen, you'll see where the Holy Spirit motivated me to question. Just question today. Earlier, according to my DNA results, can it prove that I'm a product of incest? That's the thing about pausing this thing. I don't know where I left off, so I'm just going to start with what's on the screen. At this point, I'm over it, and we'll get to those names and those people a little later in part 2. Right now, we're just establishing how this came about of me questioning incestuous, the incestuous part, the incest. So I typed up in Google, basically, could my DNA test results reveal that I was conceived through incest? Now, let's talk about what incest means. Incest means when close relatives, mate or intimate, or somebody is violated or raped, for the sake of YouTube. You adults are on here, sexually assault without consent, and a child is conceived, a baby is made. For example, a father that rapes his daughter, or a uncle, or someone of the other children's father's family rapes that person, or if the mother had an affair and was sleeping with the brother or with their own son, God forbid. This rabbit hole goes deep, you guys, but basically, here, let me get the exact definition. Okay, sorry about that. I had to go take a screenshot for you guys to see. As you see, the definition, incestuous, is involving or guilty of incest of human relations, basically. And this is why I was saying incestuous in a few minutes here. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Incest. Sexual relations between people classified as being too closely related to marry each other. The crime of having sex or intercourse or sexual intercourse with a parent, a child, a sibling, or grandchild. Yeah, that's what incest is. You know how people talk about kissing cousins? This would be like kissing brothers and sisters, or kissing in-laws, or kissing, oh, Jesus Christ, parent and child. And in my case, I am a product of incest. Incest can lead to an increased risk of genetic disorders in children in case of pregnancy from incestuous sex. The reason why I put that up is because I do have a cousin who had developmental issues when they were growing up, so she could be a product of incest as well. Even though I was told that a DNA test was given and her father was identified with this cousin. Moving right along. Now, the reason why I brought this up is because if this, hold on, forewarning, trigger warning, I will be pausing this video so that I can grieve. Yes, this has been very emotional for me, very emotional, because I've been lied to for so long. I've been lied to for 30 plus years about my biological parents. And so it is devastating. Hold on. So forgive me if I often, pause and then come back and my voice changes. And that's what I'm doing. I'm positive so I can cry. But in no way, fashion, or form do I feel like I want to inflict harm on anyone, nor myself. I love myself. I'm actually starting to get a little bit of relief because I know the truth. And even if I don't have all of it, Just this little bit of it is confirming of who I am and why I've been treated the way I was, why I went to foster care, why was my great uncles and aunts, treating me the way they've been treating me. Hold on. Okay. For those of you who have been watching, you heard me say that I will be pausing this video so that I can cry, I can grieve, I can get angry, I can talk to God, you know what I'm saying, and come back. Continuing on. Paternity versus incest. While DNA testing can indicate a child was conceived through a close relationship, it can definitively differentiate between all first-degree relationships, meaning father-daughter versus brother-sister. Now, in my case, because I do pertain DNA from two different families, closely related, so closely related that Ancestry.com was able to produce results that who at least my grandparents were, both like definitively who are my grandmother. And lo and behold, yes, Miss Margaret is my grandmother. However, the Mama Dia, who I've always believed to be my great grandmother, is also my grandmother. So I know at least my father come from that family, the Harrises. Why am I saying this? Excuse me. Why they had been treating me the way they had. Like, I've been really, really treated bad. I mean, like, totally mistreated, like Cinderella, and the reason why I refer to Cinderella is because with these test results, all of that is about to change. Why did I say that? Because, okay, I don't even know where to start. Hold on. Okay, please forgive the noise in the background. My neighbors are getting their grass cut. I had to pull this up, and please bear with me if I pronounce these words incorrectly. We have runs of homozygosity, ROH. When parents are closely related, a child will inherit identical segments of DNA from both parents, okay? And then we have single nucleotides, polymorphism, SNP. Arrays. These genetic tests can identify regions of DNA that are homozygous, identical from the parents, which are indicative of first degree consanguinity, parent and child, and full siblings. Now, the reason why I brought that up is to give you guys an example, as you see here on the screen. In a typical parent-child relationship, they share about 50% of their DNA. The reason why I was alarmed and knew that I may be a product of incestuousness or incest is because my grandparents, both of my great grandparent and my grandparent, Miss Margaret, showed significant rates beyond the expected 25% for a grandchild and even less for a great grandchild. As you see here, in an incestuous relationship between a parent and a child, the child would share significantly more than 50% of their DNA with the parent. I share more than 50% of my DNA with Margaret and with Mabel, my great grandmother. Sorry. Okay, sorry for that. I share more than 50%. Now, the exact numbers, I have not gone back to Ancestry to go give you guys the exact numbers, but we'll get to that later on. Right now, I'm just trying to establish that, this is the reason why I do not associate with the entire Coleman family. The Coleman family, the Neville's family, nobody in my family. I don't trust any of them, especially the older ones, my great aunts and great uncles, my aunts and uncles. As a matter of fact, at this point, my mother may be my sister. And I said that. I've said that. My uncle is my brother. My great uncle may be my dad, or he may be my direct uncle. My grandmother may be my mom. Margaret may be my mother, and Larry may be my father. And if that is the case, this is not just twisted. Something terrible has occurred here. And I'm going to get to the bottom of it. But I'll have to come back for part 2 of that. This is, like I said, it's overwhelming. The lights are back on, so I'll finish this later. But yes, DNA testing can reveal if a child was conceived through incest. And according to my test results, again, my apologies. I don't know where I'll be leaving off when I be pausing it, and I'm not going back. Later on, I'll listen to everything and edit it if I need to. But for the most part, I'm just trying to get this stuff off my chest. Confirmation of a relationship like this would definitely need further investigation. Yeah, moving forward. Basically, what happened, like it says here in the example, if a child is born from a relationship between a grandmother and her father, the child's great grandfather to that individual would share a greater amount of DNA with the great grandfather than expected, potentially resembling the amount typically shared with a grandfather. So, in other words, if my mom slash sister conceived me because of her father, that's why my grandma Medea is showing up as my grandparent instead of my great grandparent. And the same thing with my grandma Margaret. She's showing up as my grandmother. So obviously one of her girls is my mother, or she's also showing up as my grandmother, but potentially my mother. Because if she had a relationship with the brother of the father of the other children, that would cause me to be the grandchild of Medea. Either way it goes, my grandma Medea is also my grandmother. She's not just my great grandmother. So somebody did something. I don't know if one of the men slept with one of their nieces, or Margaret is my mother and she was with the brother. That's where I'm at in my DNA testing results, because one of the uncles, I did get a match with him. And it was stating that he is my direct uncle and that his kids are my first cousins. We'll get to that. Oh, hold on. Again, I'm sorry for that, because like I said, these people have been lying to me for so long. So long. And this is not defamation of character. These are facts. This is truth. This is shit that's been swept under the rug. Miss Margaret, Miss Nisi, you thought you was taking this to your grave. You're not. And you will be held accountable, even if my mom doesn't press charges, or however that goes. I will. I don't care how old you are. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. You tried to cover this up. You thought you was going to take this to your grave, and you're not. So let justice be served. This is why they want to take me out. This is why they want me homeless. This is why they want to tell people that I'm crazy and incompetent, because they did not want this shit right here to come out. If you see, it says that Mabel Harris, who I've known to be my great grandmother, it states that she is 100%. Now, I don't have the percentages on here, but trust me, I can pull them up. She is 100% my grandmother, which means one of her sons is my father. Biological father. And Miss Nisi is showing up as my grandmother. Yeah, showing up as my grandmother. So most likely she's not my mother, but like I said, I need to go back and look at the percentage that we share DNA, because, oh, Jesus, if she is my mom, then that would make one of possibly my great uncle or my actually grandfather, who I'm thinking is my grandfather, my dad. This shit is crazy. At the end of the day, there's potentially two men in question. Two men in question. Either my grandmother, Margaret, Miss Nisi, had an affair with the brother, or she's actually my mother. If she had an affair with the brother, or the brother molested the children, or their father, they were molested by their own father. Either way it goes, I just want to know who my daddy is. That's all. If it's Uncle Lester, I'm going to press charges for that if I can. If it's my, rest in peace, my grandfather, because he's still whoever. What's done has been done. Now, let's start the healing. And I have a right to know, especially if Papa Larry is my actual father. Baby, I'm supposed to be receiving benefits. There is no reason that I should have ever been homeless. There's no reason that I should have ever been treated the way that I have. You're going to pay for that. It doesn't matter who my daddy is. At the end of the day, Miss Denise, you will pay for this. And I do plan on pressing charges against you. I don't care if you 70, 80, you're going to jail. You're going to jail. And you're going to unhands everything that belongs to me. Call me crazy, call me evil, all you want. You're evil. You're crazy. You're evil. Why would you do this to your child? Especially if Lorena is my mom or Karanda, whoever. Why didn't you protect your child? Because you're evil. You want to tell people I'm evil, I'm bad? No, ma'am, you are. You thought you was going to take this to your grave? In Jesus' name, no, you won't. No, you won't. You're not leaving this earth until it's made justified, until justice is served. And I'm going to see to that. Yeah, I'm going to see to it. And you're going to watch me do it. I'm already doing it. As a matter of fact, if Larry is my father, if he is my father, if he fathered me, where are my benefits? He was a veteran in the war. Have you been given my benefits to Connie? Is that the reason why her last name is not Ward, but Nevels? I'm rightfully a Nevels. She's been getting all of my benefits that I'm the baby girl. Make it make sense. Larry is not even her father. Why is her last name Nevels instead of Ward? Is my real name Constance? I have a cousin, you guys. Her name's Jessica. Guess what her last name is? Jessica Ward. Come on, somebody. My real name is Constance, and Constance's real name is Jessica. I cannot make this up. It's 12:22 on the clock. I will have part 2 coming out to where I will be giving examples. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to take a break, you guys. I will have a part 2 to this where I will be displaying the actual percentages. Another DNA test is definitely going to need to be done. And in order for me to receive my benefits from my native tribe, which is a cross between Cherokee, Chinamachi, and Cherokee, Chinamachi, and Choctaw, I need those results. That's how kind of all of this got started, because I was trying to find my tribe and join, with my membership. And then all this stuff came up with my children and all of these different people out of the woodworks and them calling me crazy because they did not want people to hear me. They did not want people to hear my side of the story because they know I am the key to this entire puzzle. I got some information for that ass. And like I said, I am pressing charges to the max. Get ready.